Welcome back to my channel, Becoming Tabitha Ford. I'm super excited to talk about my birth plan. I have had two pregnancies. This is my third pregnancy and I am 23 weeks and like a few days pregnant. I've been in this trying to find out, because I got laid off from my job in December, I have been trying to find out insurance and it's all been a mess. But I finally got insurance and it's really good insurance. And so yesterday I kind of completely changed my birth plan and everything that I'm gonna do. So what if we gave birth at a birth center instead of at the hospital?
What's a birth center?
And I'm super excited about this because I've always wanted this type of birth, but with insurance and everything like that, not a lot of insurances cover it, and it's pretty expensive. And so with my first two births, I was induced with both. So my daughter and my son, I was induced with both. Now I had great experiences with my induction, but I would say being my third, I've always wanted to do things differently. So with my first baby, I was induced at 40 weeks. I was supposed to be induced at 39 weeks, but they didn't have enough beds, which is kind of crazy. And so induced at 40 weeks, and my goal was to go no epidural. I did end up getting an epidural, and I'm so glad I did. It was I was having back labor, and it was just, I could not do it. I also went in with the mentality that if I do get an epidural, that'd be okay. If I don't, that's the goal. But I did not go in with the mindset of I'm not getting an epidural. And so I was induced, I had Pitocin, all that stuff, and my water broke at 2 centimeters, and after that, it was so painful. And so I ended up getting the epidural, and then I had a great birth. I did end up giving birth. I was able to get in all fours, and then I ended up giving birth to my son in a lunge, and I had a small tear, nothing crazy, but I was really able to move, and thanks to my midwives in Arizona. They are incredible, but she was really in tune with me, and I was able to have a great birth. With my second one, I was also induced. I was induced at 39 weeks, just based on the recommendation from maternal fetal medicine. And so I was induced at 39 weeks, and I progressed very slow to start out, but that's the goal. I do never want to go straight to Pitocin. I've always done Cervidil, all the options. And then we did do the Cook's balloon this time with my second one, and then my water broke, and then I was laboring, and this one was my goal for my second pregnancy. My second birth was to go no epidural, even with getting induced. And so I've been told, I don't know because I've only had Pitocin contractions, but I've been told that Pitocin contractions are a lot harder than just regular contractions. So I had Pitocin, and it was getting unbearable, and I was okay, I need the epidural. And literally 7 minutes later, my baby was here. So I did not end up getting the epidural. I was in that transition phase, and I did not really recognize that when you hit that spot, it's that's transition. And so I got in all fours and was able to give birth to her like that. She did need a little oxygen, but all my pregnancies have been great. And so with this third pregnancy, we are changing our birth plan. And so my initial birth plan was to give birth in a hospital and go no epidural and not get induced. So based on the recommendations from maternal fetal medicine, it has been be induced, but they say there's no reason to go past 39 weeks. But there is, for me, I want to go into labor naturally. This time, being my last baby, I really want to experience that. And so, of course, if there comes a time where I have to get induced, that's that, and I've accepted that. I've already gone through that, so I know it'll go fine. But with this one, it is to not get induced, and we're switching from a hospital birth to a birthing center. And I'm really excited about that, just because the medical team, I want to be able to really just experience all of giving birth without no medicine, and they don't have any medication. They rarely give IVs. You can birth in a bath, in a tub, and that's never been available to me at my hospitals. So I've never been able to give birth in a tub at the hospital. And I've always been in constant monitoring because I'm on all that Pitocin, and like the baby, you know, it affects the baby very differently. And so and at first I wasn't sure my husband was going to be open for it. Out of the two of us, I am more of like the holistic one, and he's like, I don't know anything medical, let the medical people take care of it. And so I wasn't sure he was going to be open to it, but I'll show you the clip. A birth center I'll show you some pictures, but it essentially looks like a home. They have like a tub. There's like an overseeing nurse, but you're not connected to like an IV. You don't have like constant monitoring. It's a very natural setting.
Sure.
Yeah, would you be open to it?
Yeah, that's your last baby, so if you want to, you can. You think I was gonna say no?
I wasn't sure what you were gonna think of it. I thought you were gonna be like kind of uncomfortable because there's like not all these doctors and like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about it. Okay, go for it. Go.
Hi.
I don't know why I would care that much. Like, oh, like I really need to look into this.
Okay, sweet.
Does that make sense? The point is,
That's exciting because I'm very excited. I really want like a natural approach, and I've been induced for my other two labors. So like this, I just really don't want to be induced this time. Really, it's so cool. Well, first of all, I wasn't expecting to get this good of insurance, and so this is like a huge blessing. Huge blessing, like thank you, Lord. And then to have this opportunity too, I feel like it's gonna be so much different, and it's gonna be our last, so it's like really different.
yeah, I mean, the thing is gonna be super different. I think that's the first.
Anyways, moral of the story, he was like really open to it, and I was super excited because I was like, this will be great. If I need to transfer, I asked all those questions. So I was like, do you work with maternal fetal medicine? Because my pregnancy is high risk, we always co-manage with maternal fetal medicine and my midwife, and they said yes. So that is great, covered that one. The event that I do need to be transferred, I was like, what hospital do you go to? Do I get to choose? Da, da, da. And so I do get to choose if it's not an emergency situation. So not all ambulances will take patients to certain hospitals. Usually they'll take them to the closest hospital. And so if it wasn't an emergency situation, then I'd probably go to the closest hospital. However, I would have a preference either way. And then if it wasn't, I could have that preference too. So that is super exciting. And of course there's every side to every birth, and like what I want for mine is not what everyone needs to want for theirs. But just being able to experience like a hospital birth and a birthing center, I don't think I would ever want to do it at home just because I don't want to clean up the mess. But I am super excited just to start this process. So I'm gonna have to switch midwives again. So this is gonna be my third midwife out of this pregnancy, but that's okay. So I feel like it's all like kind of a blessing because I got this insurance I was not expecting. Is a huge blessing. And then to switch with midwives, honestly, I'm only 23 weeks. They haven't done anything extensive. There's nothing wrong with the baby. So we did have a growth scan, and nothing's wrong with the baby. Everything looks great. And then I'm healthy as can be too. So I've been working out also. And so switching is going to be simple. It's just like send my medical records over. So that's easy. But overall, I'm super excited, and like just like this is what I've always wanted for my birth, and I just never thought that I could afford it, essentially. So super excited to be giving birth in a birth center, and it's only 15 minutes away, so it's super close. And with our kids, so we have 2 kids at home, and we don't have any family here, and so being in a birth center, I feel like I could be able to get home faster to our kids and not have to have like childcare or whoever can watch our kids during that time as long. So that is kind of a relief for me too. But stay tuned because there's going to be more coming on this topic.